Hi everybody, it's Michelle, and today I'm going to show you guys how I add paper into my planner. So recently I've gotten a few questions, people asking me how I add the paper or tip in the paper into my planner. And I am using the Hobonichi Weeks right now, and I like to add in extra sheets of paper when I need to keep daily notes in between the weeks. So I'm going to show you how I do this. I'm getting ready to set up next week. So I'm going to go ahead and set up next week, add in a sheet of paper, and just take you through that whole process with me. The first thing that I do when setting up a new week is I choose what color I want to use. So for this next week, I want to use this color here. It's Key West, and I'm just going to use a plain acrylic paint. These are really cheap. I get them for 50 cents each at Walmart, and I just kind of rub on my paint. And I didn't have a Sharpie marker that matched, so I'm going to just use a contrasting pink here for the edging, and I'll show you what I do with this. So I choose the colors, but then I'm going to get my paper that I'm going to add in and tip it into the book before I do any painting. And I think for next week I only need one sheet of paper. Hopefully I won't need to take that many notes. And this paper here is actually Hobonichi paper. It is from the cousin from 2014. I had extra papers I had punched, and then I didn't end up using all of them. So I'm just going to cut this, and this is what's going in the book. And if you'll notice, the coloring is not the same. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but the Hobonichi Weeks is more of a cream color. This is not, this cousin paper, it's not white. It's kind of almost an eggshell white, but this in the Weeks is definitely darker. So there is a little bit of contrast between that. But I want this really nice thin paper that's the same as the paper in my book. I want it to all be the same. That's why I'm using this. So I'm going to cut this to fit. And I kind of know where my cut lines are now. I just cut at the bottom squares. I take that off, and then I cut from where the check marks are here and one box over, and that gives me a nice size to fit into the weeks. And I save these to use for my grocery list. I don't throw these away. So, see, it fits rather nicely. Oh, I need to cut this side, sorry. I cut all the way to the line on the grid line over here also. And at the top. It's been a long week and my brain's not functioning properly. Okay, so here we go. It makes it a little shorter, but I like it that way because when I'm flipping around, I can still see the week number. Here at the top, you see, I can still see the week number even though I have the papers in here. So this is the paper I'm going to put in. I'm going to round these corners. So I like my corners rounded. And then the next thing I'm going to do is get my washi tape and actually put it into the book. So here's my washi. I'm using the thin washi just in these pastel colors. And I'm going to put it at the very edge. And let go that. Here. Try to get it straight. On there. Clip the ends. Save this. I can use it for something. Now that it all lines up, I'm going to fold it back to that edge. fold it back. And then we are going to put it in the book. And I like to get it as close to the bottom, but not maybe all the way. And then I just kind of push down this way first. Try that again. Where it holds on there, and just very lightly first go through and get it to kind of tack on there. And then I'll go through and do this side so that it has a nice fold. And then there's my paper tipped into the book. And it's just that simple. Then I'm going to go through and put in some paint. Oh, this one's kind of yucky. And I just like to decorate up my paper. Just a little. And once this dries, pen writes over it very nicely. I haven't had any problems writing over it with a gel pen or with a ballpoint pen. No problems at all. And it dries so quickly, you don't have to worry about waiting a long time for it to dry. Just a little more. Do the other side. Let's cover more of that there though, because I don't ever use the quotes section there. I usually try to cover that up. I just love color. It just makes it more interesting to me. It makes me want to use it more whenever I try to make it look prettier and interesting to my eye. Now you can use any paper to tip in. It's just I like using the Hobonichi paper since I have some left. And it just doesn't bulk it up as much. But I do have other paper tipped in also here, which is thicker, but this will not be staying in. It's going to come out and go into a new book in the future. And these will be staying in because they're actually part of the planner, the day-to-day planning process. So what I usually do also is take, usually before I put the paint on, I actually, let me find this. Work on the edges of this paper with a Sharpie, and I just put a little scallop design that just defines it for my eye also, so I can tell which is the tip-in paper and I don't get it confused with the actual paper that's already in the planner. And I can have a heavy hand here because I actually want it to bleed through to the other side so that I can only have to do one side. Otherwise I have to turn it over and do the other side also. So I like the bleed through when I do this. I used to color code my planners this way. I would have a month be all in the same color on the edges, and that way I could tell at a glance what month it was. I did that in my bullet journals and also in my Hobonichi. And I just have this plastic here to protect the pages underneath so I don't get any Sharpie on those. Go back over it a little bit more. Oh, I kind of like these colors together. I might do color combinations more often instead of the same colors. Because usually, like if I'm doing yellow, like for this week it's yellow, and my edging is also yellow. But I like the pink and blue. And then I don't worry about this paper until I actually have to start taking notes. So on Monday, I'll just write in Monday and take my notes for the day there. Let's turn it over and see how, okay. There's not a whole lot of bleed through. What I'm going to do though is actually take my pen. I don't have pink on there. I have pink on there. Where's my pink? I've been using my Stabilos for this, but I have them put away right now. So I'm just going to do some edgings here to kind of highlight the scallop. Just to decorate it a little bit. And doing this for the next week usually only takes me a few minutes. And I enjoy doing it, choosing my colors, what little theme I want to have for the next week. And I like that I'm only worrying about doing it for a week at a time instead of every day, because there was a point where I was trying to decorate every day, and that gets to be a little stressful. I want to go through and do this side also. And you'll see that over here, you can still see the date. I will put a sticker or something over that just to cover that up. And then there's just one more thing that I usually do when setting up for the week. And that is I divide up this section right here. And we will do that, and I will be done setting up for next week, which is week 28 next week. So you see it's very easy just to add in extra paper into your planner. Let me get my ruler, and we will separate these days into the Hobonichi Weeks already has dots here where it separates it out for you into 3 sections. Oh, it's kind of bumpy because I have pictures on the other side. Just go back over that. So that's set up. And what I do is this first section is for appointments and events, things where I have to leave the house, or all day happenings. The second column, this past week, I used it for to-dos, my to-do list, which I am going to do that again this week. And previously I was using the last one for gratitude, which this past week I did not do that. I was putting my gratitude in the Erin Condren when I was summarizing the day in the Erin Condren. That's kind of like my scrapbook and my record keeper. I decided that would be a better place for that. So what I actually have been doing this week is been putting in tiny little pictures of something that happened during the day. And I print those out with my LG Popo. Those are actually with the Popo, because I can get really tiny pictures printed out with that thing. Most of my other pictures are printed out on the Selfie 1200, and I will eventually do a video on that showing you guys how I print out all of my pictures. So this is next week. I'm all ready to go. I need to put in a couple more events I think that I have on my calendar and get that set up. But otherwise, and maybe put a few stickers if I can find some that I want to put in now. Maybe I can find that right now. Let me look. Something cute. Oh, that's too cute, and it matches. Good enough. We will put the snail because it kind of covers that whole section I need covered. And what else? I think that's it. This sticker sheet was so cute, but you see all of these little fruit stickers? They are not cut. You have to cut them yourself if you want to use all these little fruit. I don't know why they did that. That's crazy. But here we go. We're ready for next week. I'll put my stuff in here. Oh, and my weekly task list I usually put right here. And so it's right there with the week, and I can just flip the pages over and see what it is I have planned for the week. And that is how I set up my week and add in paper. If you have any questions about this, just put it below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. You guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.